What do you say, everybody? And welcome to the Cubs baseball channel. A lot to get into today. The Cubs still very interested in not one, not two, but three Diamondbacks players. And we're going to talk about those guys. And we already have on this channel, but some of the national experts are still pinning the Cubs and the Diamondbacks together as potential partners in a big deal. I think it's going to happen. I think it's very likely that's going to happen. I'm going to talk about that. Still sending out tributes to our all-time favorite Cub, Ryne Sandberg. Still just all of us trying to figure out exactly how this happened and honestly just take in the magnitude of the loss that Ryno has brought to the Cubs community with his passing, because it really is enormous. And I know a lot of you guys are feeling it right now, and I am too. And the Cubs injury updates, and we'll talk about the Cubs and Brewers looking to salvage the final game of the series in Milwaukee. So all that right here on the Cubs baseball channel. Like, subscribe, comment, give us a thumbs up. And again, appreciate you being here, all of you guys hanging out here. I know it's been a rough couple of days, but that's what we're all about. Getting Cub fans together at a bar, sitting, talking. You guys recognize where I'm at in this picture? All right, let's go. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs baseball channel. And again, so good to see you here today as we talk about the Cubs. All right, let's get into this right off the bat. I feel like something, and maybe by the time you see this video, I keep saying that, but we're closing in on the Thursday trade deadline. The Diamondbacks are playing hardball. They're trying to get the best possible offer that they can get. And let's start right here. Bob Nightengale, USA Today. He's credible. He's someone that I have a lot of respect for. I've hung out with in the past. If he says it, he's got really good sources. And he's saying that the Cubs are expressing interest in both potential rental options from the Diamondbacks, Merrill Kelly and Zac Gallen, and potentially both of them. The Cubs, even though it's been a tough couple of days, right, they still envision themselves going to the World Series. And I think that's what you're supposed to, right? You want to try to get there. Merrill Kelly, who's 36 years old, has a career 225 postseason earned run average in his 4 starts. They both have World Series experience. You know, Gallen, who was able to help the Diamondbacks get there as well and eventually lose to the Rangers, had a 4.54 ERA, and that was in his 4 starts. And then in the 6 starts that include the World Series, the 2 starts in the World Series, 3.18 ERA. I remember him being really good in the postseason, both of those guys, right? So if you're the Cubs, another bad outing from a starter. You can tell that everybody right now is pretty tired. The Cubs need a shot of adrenaline, and making a big trade, I think, will definitely help them. And that's what big market teams are supposed to do, right? Gallen's had a tough year. There's no doubt about it. It isn't up to his standards. A 5.58 ERA. His whip's really high. He's allowed the most home runs in the National League. But I feel like a change of scenery could really help him. I mean, I just believe that Gallen is going to figure it out. And then on top of that, Merrill Kelly has been fantastic. But why not go after both of them? If you can possibly pull a deal off to get them both, I'd say it would help this team immensely when you look at the way that the rotation's been. I mean, we saw Boyd, we saw Shota, we saw your 2 best pitchers not their best. And, it almost feels like you want to like kind of just slow down the 5-man rotation a little bit, maybe skip somebody, something that you can't do when you really only have 4 starters. And so it just feels like what the Cubs are kind of looking at right now is trying to find a shot of adrenaline. And They need that desperately. It was good to see Ben Brown pitch so well in that fifth starter spot last time. And for right now, I guess that's your best option. But Cubs have until Thursday night to figure this out. And both of these guys, according to Bob Nightengale, are still on the Cubs' radar, which doesn't surprise me at all. Now, this is the one that I've kind of been telling you guys because this is what my sources are telling me too, and that the Cubs are squarely in this deal to get Eugenio Suárez. I think that they're going to do it. I've told you that before, but anything can happen. I mean, Cubs and Mariners, according to Jeff Passan, who's another excellent baseball insider, are at the top of the list. Don't be surprised if he didn't end up in one of those two spots. That's coming from Jeff Passan. I'm not going to be surprised. I'm surprised, honestly, to see Matt Shaw, playing so well, hitting the ball so well. But I figured that it would eventually come. But the Cubs, they could use the extra bat. They could use a guy who is an all-star and still has a shot to eventually one day be a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's going to get there or not, but if he was able to go another, 7-8 years like he's been, get to 500 home runs, it's automatic for him. And he's become one of the best power hitters in the game. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but right now he is he's the best power hitter in the National League. And he got hit by a pitch the other day. He didn't break anything. He said he thought he did, but he'll be back, and we'll see if the Cubs are the team that ends up getting him. The Mariners already made a trade with the Diamondbacks. They got Naylor. They'd love to have him as well. So, we'll kind of see how that all plays out. But I think the Cubs are going to end up with at least one deal with the Diamondbacks. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more, depending on what the match is, what they're wanting back, and what the Cubs are willing to give up. And are the Cubs willing to give up Owen Casey? I feel like having given Jed Hoyer the extension makes it a little less likely in my mind that they trade Owen Casey because, maybe there's not that sense of desperation to try to save his and everybody else's job, and he can look a little bit long-term and say, we'll do our best to get the pieces that we need, but we're not going to give away the farm for a bunch of rental guys. And then, Tucker takes off and then you don't have a right fielder, or you're back with Seiya Suzuki out there and he wasn't good defensively. So we'll see how that kind of all works out. Now, with that said, I still think that between now and the deadline that the Cubs get something done with the Diamondbacks. I think they really want to get it done. And I think Moises Ballesteros and Jackson Wiggins are two guys that will be right there at the top of the Diamondbacks wish list. And maybe they throw in some other, James Triantos, maybe another pitching prospect. If the Cubs tried to get all three, you're talking about having to give some really good young players back on the other end. Not opposed to that, but I think that there's some guys that you got to keep off the table, and Owen Casey would be one of those. I've enjoyed all of your comments about Ryne Sandberg. Some of you guys named after Ryno. When I spent the summer with Ryno, working with him, and I've said this before on here, he went out of his way for fans. I mean, he and I talked about that a lot, just how much fans mean to the game of baseball. And how you wouldn't have a game of baseball without the fans. He loved the fans. He respected the game. He respected what the fans brought to his life. But the other thing, which was really cool, was that there were some Rynos, some Ryne Sandbergs named after him. And he would take special time and attention for those guys. And maybe some of you that are watching the channel right now were amongst the people that would come and say, hey, you know what? I'm named Ryne after Ryne Sandberg. And occasionally I'd run into one. Hey, I'm here. I just wanted to say hi to him. I thought that was special. And so did he. So thank you guys for all of your comments. It has been a rough couple of days. And there's a part of this that we've talked about on here where you're losing someone that you idolized. And then there's this other part where you're losing someone that you were friends with and that you're going to really miss. So I think I'm torn with you guys right down the middle. I feel so bad for his family, for Cubs Nation. 65 is just way too young, and he fought valiantly, and it just stinks sometimes the way life turns out. Now, I really like the Cubs patch that they're doing, that they put on the uniforms. They'll have that on for the rest of the year. And there's going to be a bunch of tributes for Ryno. And I just don't think we'll forever forget him. It just won't be the same. I remember when Ernie died, it sucked. I mean, because I get to talk to Ernie. I mean, I'd be back there talking to Ernie at some of the Cubs stuff, and he was always such a nice guy. And then Ron Santo, I loved Ron Santo. I didn't know him as well as some people, and I didn't know him as well as I knew Ryno, but I got to know him, and he always took time to talk to me, and I loved listening to him on the radio. He was the best, and it just hasn't been the same since. You just can't replace the Ron Santos and the Ryan Sandbergs and all of that stuff. But we can honor them, and we can remember them, and appreciate the fact that we got the opportunity to know them. And they're definitely just a huge part of the organization. They will be forever. But it's been tough, man. And everybody's just trying to put the pieces together. One of his former teammates and I are really good friends, and we were talking, and he was just like, Ryno was a legend. Like, he was a legend when he was alive. And we all knew it. Like, being around him, you just knew it. Like, he didn't say anything. And he'll be a legend. He's never going to die, because legends never die. Anyway, guys, we'll keep an eye on all the stuff that's going to happen, the ceremonies and all that. And we'll talk a lot about Ryno, because I know that's something that you guys are commenting a lot about. So it was just, I couldn't do too much of it the last few days. It's just been, it just hits close to home. I'll just leave it at that. Now, some good news on the injury front for the Cubs. This has been an area which all teams are dealing with this right now, that the Cubs could definitely use some help. Taylor McGregor from Marquee put out some injury updates. She does a great job, by the way. Porter Hodge and Miguel Amaya played tonight for the Iowa Cubs. That is good news. I'm wondering, I mean, Reese McGuire has been so good. Is Miguel Amaya, they're going to rush him back? Reese actually been pretty good. Porter Hodge, I felt like they rushed him back last time, and he just wasn't ready to go. But he's starting to get back to where he can help the team. And then how about this? Javier Assad is going to start the game today. So yesterday, Porter Hodge and Miguel Amaya played for Iowa. Let me make sure I said that right. And then tonight, it'll be Javier Assad pitching for the Iowa Cubs. And then James Tyone threw 40 pitches in a live bullpen yesterday. So the Cubs have some help on the way, plus the trade deadline, which is going to be interesting to see if they do go out and trade for, 2 or 3 guys or more that are going on the big league roster. That means that they're going to have to make some moves from other guys and try to figure out what things are going to look like on the roster front. And I think that it's coming. I really feel like here in the next, in the next couple days, we're going to have some moves made. Now, Cubs and Brewers today, 110 in Milwaukee. Shota looking to come back after that last start. Said his velocity was a little bit low. 7-4 record, a 3.12 ERA. I think he'll be ready to go. And Freddie Peralta, who's been really good this year, 12-4 with a 2.81 ERA. Brewers are tough, and the Cubs found that out. They had the lead in the first game and couldn't hold on to it. Boyd just wasn't himself. Took the loss yesterday, and so now they've lost the series. I just haven't liked the way that the teams played. Colin Ray, the former Brewer, going back home and, kind of not looking like the guy that we saw earlier this year. But, I mean, look, in 4 innings, he gave up 8 hits and 4 runs. At this point, the Cubs just need somebody to step up like a show to stop, get things under control, and then start to think about what's going to happen between now and Thursday, right? Thursday's the trade deadline, and the Cubs are off, and there's not many games going on. And then Friday, I think we're going to have a new look to the team because I think that there's going to be a flurry of moves that are made. I would be shocked if we come Friday and they didn't do anything. Just don't think that's going to happen. So anyway, Cubs will try to bounce back. Appreciate all that. I haven't forgot about you guys, you Cardinals, but we've got bigger and better things to worry about besides whether you guys are going to trade your team away or not. So good luck at the deadline. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, get in the comment section. I want to tell you guys again, thank you for all the great comments. I love reading it. Thank you for helping build this channel. We're closing in. We want to get to 10,000 subscribers. You guys are helping us get there. No matter where I'm at, I try to put a show out for you every day. And you guys make it worth it. So thank you so much. And go Cubs. Talk to you tomorrow.